Well, I want to say hello to everybody and welcome to this class, which is going to demonstrate for you how to make a plant-based appetizer board. So I'm going to show you sort of the artistry of how to put together a really pretty board here. And I'm going to be speaking here where you can see me. And I'm going to show you how to make two different recipes, and I think one of us is following along, correct? Anybody else? Just one. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate two recipes. You can, and I'll tell you where you can find the recipes if you want to do them. So to begin with, if you don't know me, I am Diana Goldman. I have a business here in Boston called Beantown Kitchen. I am a plant-based chef. I'm a caterer. I'm a cooking instructor. And I do cooking classes for organizations. When we're not in this pandemic situation, I do them live, usually on site. But these days I've been doing a lot of Zoom demonstrations as well, because this is really what I love to do. So that's a little bit about me. And the reason why it's relevant to be teaching plant-based diet related things to Sierra Club and to Sierra Club members is because a plant-based diet is one of the single most effective things we as individuals can do for the health of the planet. So any movement towards eating plant-based is beneficial for the planet. So that's why it's relevant. And a couple things I just want to say is the people sometimes say, but you know, we need to eat meat. Don't we have to have dairy? Where are we going to get our protein? Where are we going to get our calcium? The Academy, American Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics say that a vegan diet is nutritionally adequate and may even be beneficial for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. And the diseases that they're referring to are the diseases that most affect us, some of the most common chronic diseases here in the United States, like heart disease, diabetes, obesity. So, you know, the American Dietetics Association, another name for the American Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, says that a plant-based diet can be beneficial for addressing those chronic diseases and others. So that said, I'm going to make a plant-based cheese board, and it's going to be happening here. And I'm just going to demonstrate for you two different accoutrements that I like to put on the board. So some of the things, for instance, that go on the board, I've got some carrots here, some crackers. I have some Marcona almonds, some grapes, some raspberries. I have some really beautiful figs, which are in season now. I have some cut up cucumbers, and I have some round crackers. So I'm going to show you how I use those to display the board. And this is the kind of thing that I like to put together when I'm either catering or I'm entertaining a group of friends and I just want to put out a pretty board. And I think that one of the nice things about a board is we eat with our eyes first, and I think it can look really pretty, and I'm going to show you that. So the first recipe I'm going to show you how to make is some sweet and spicy pecans. And I have a cup of pecans here. You can do this with pecans, walnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds, you know, any variety of nuts or seeds work for this recipe. And to that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And you could also use, instead of maple syrup, if you wanted, some agave syrup, works just fine. So 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, because these have just a nice little kick of pepper. And here's my 1/4 teaspoon. It's going to go in the bowl here. So I'm mixing everything together in this bowl. In fact, I'll put it right here so you can see it on the other screen. And then just a little pinch of salt. So that's getting added too. And then I'm going to mix those together. You can see right here where I'm working, so that the pecans are nicely covered by the maple syrup. And then I have the oven on 350. I'm just gonna bake these for, I think it's 8 to 10 minutes. I don't have the recipe in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So these are nicely coated. And I have a baking sheet here. I have it covered with a silpat sheet. You could also cover it with parchment paper. And I'm going to put the nuts evenly onto the baking sheet and just put those in the oven and bake them. So there I go. It's really that simple. So I'm just disappearing for a second while I'm putting these in the oven. Okay, so those are really nice on this plant-based board. I also like to have those to sprinkle onto salads. They're really delicious that way. I did see that Trader Joe's is copying me now because they have sweet and spicy pecans. I saw them today at the, when I was shopping. I think this is making it yourself as a much less expensive, much cheaper way of making that nice nuts. Okay, so those in the oven now. And any questions about that?
I just want to make sure I didn't miss any ingredients. It was
Yes.
just the maple syrup and the cayenne, or was there anything else?
And I put a pinch of salt into it.
Okay.
Pinch of salt. If you want to find this recipe, it's on my website, Beantown Kitchen. It's sweet and spicy nuts is where you would find it. Okay. So,
Diana, I had a question.
Yes.
Where do you get your nuts? I know they can be really quite expensive.
Yeah, so I tend to get my nuts in bulk from nuts.com.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a good source. I also sometimes get my nuts from Purcell Mountain Farms. They're somewhere in the Midwest and their prices are good. But you're right, they are expensive. I think seeds can be less expensive, like pumpkin seeds, for instance, would work well for this recipe. You just wouldn't cook them as long. But I mean, basically what you're looking for is something that has a little bit of a fatty texture and a crunch, and any of that would work well. Okay, so that is the pecans. The next thing, oh, by the way, if you have any, I mean, we're a small enough group that you can just stop me if you have questions, but if you want to, you can also put questions into the chat, and Sarah will point out that there's a, oh, Elizabeth, pecan quantity, 1 cup.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, feel free to put questions in the chat, and Sarah and I will look out for them. And if you want to, in the chat, just write down your favorite plant-based food. That would be fun. I'd love to see what it is. So feel free to add that to the chat while I'm talking. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to something really, really simple, which is hummus, because everybody loves hummus as an appetizer, and it's very easy to prepare yourself. So I am moving to my food processor now. Let me just give this a little tilt so you can see it. There's my food processor. And am I moving too quickly now for Maura? No, okay. So I have already drained 1 can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas. But what I did was I preserved some of the chickpea brine. So you can see that right here. I set it aside, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So I'm gonna add that 15 ounce of chickpeas to my food processor. For people that, who pressure cooks or cooks their own beans?
I do.
Sarah, you do. Okay,
Yeah.
so you probably know that the equivalent quantity is 1.5 cups to 15 ounce. Okay, so if you're making it yourself, it would be 1.5 cups. And to that, I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I happen to know that a medium-sized lemon, usually, unless it's pretty dry, is about 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to put squeezing in just a little less than a whole lemon in for 1.5 tablespoons. Okay, and then I'm going to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt. 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin. Does anyone make their own hummus already?
Yeah.
I've done it before.
You've done it before? Okay. So, I mean, it's so versatile now. Hummus, I mean, there was a time that we all weren't eating hummus, but we are now, and now you can get beet hummus and lemon dill hummus and roasted red pepper hummus. So this is kind of a basic hummus that I'm showing you how to make now, and then you could build upon it. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tahini.
Okay,
Tahini
yes. I'm sorry. There's a question here from Eleanor Rossellini. Can I use a blender to make hummus?
Yes, you can definitely use a blender to make hummus. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tahini. Tahini is a paste made out of sesame seeds. 2 tablespoons. And this is where I'm going to talk to you about the chickpea brine that I mentioned. So back to the chickpea brine. Some people, I don't know, who follow, have you heard of a whole food plant-based diet, which is a form of eating a plant-based diet? So some doctors, one of them is Dr. Esselstyn and T. Colin Campbell, if you've seen Forks Over Knives, they talk about eating a plant-based diet which is made from whole foods without any oils, and they suggest that it's beneficial for our hearts to try to reduce oil. I've also seen studies that show that oil, a good olive oil, is beneficial for our hearts. So the verdict is not necessarily in. I can say that oil has 125 calories in 1 tablespoon. So it's pretty calorie dense without having much in the way of nutrition. So some people like to find alternatives to oil just to pack in their nutrition for less calories. I'm going to show you an alternative to using oil, and that is to actually use this chickpea brine. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of it. You could also just use olive oil, would be fine, 2 tablespoons, but I'm just going to show you because maybe you'll learn something new. This chickpea brine, another word for it is aquafaba, and that's all. So I'm just going to give that a blend now. Here's the top. And I wonder if I should mute myself for a minute while I give it a blend because it's going to be loud. Okay, before I do that, I just want to say you could add garlic to this. I also have some dill. So sometimes I'll add a clove of garlic and a tablespoon or 2 of dill and have a nice lemon dill hummus. But this one I'm just doing is very plain.
Okay. Yeah, question from Moira. Can you post the amounts of the cumin and tahini? I'll do that, but what were the amounts of cumin and tahini?
Okay, 3/4 teaspoon cumin and 2 tablespoons of tahini.
Okay, thank you.
So if you go, this recipe is actually on my website. If you go to Beantown Kitchen, I have a picture of different foods. And one of the latest picture I posted was of this hummus. And if you click on it, you'll see the recipe. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a whirl now. And I'm suggesting you let this go for a few minutes so it's nice and smooth. And if you need to add any more oil or you need to add any more aquafaba, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always add a little bit more in, but mine looks like it's fine. So I'm just going to let that spin for a little while. Some people, when they make their hummus, they actually take the little chickpea, the shell off each individual chickpea, or the skin, I should say.
Wow.
That sounds like a lot of work to me, and I haven't done it, but I'm told that gives you the smoothest hummus. So I'm just going to get something to scrape down the sides. Did anyone write their favorite plant-based foods? Let me see.
Oh, I did. Let's see.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I don't.
Peanut butter. Oh my gosh, yes. Peanut butter on an apple for me. is so good. Can I use a blender? Yes, you can use a blender. Cumin and tahini. Okay. Oh, pesto. Yes. Elizabeth, pesto.
Did that meet your
Yes.
categories?
Yes, it does. So when you do pesto, do you do it without cheese?
I thought that could be an issue. No, I do use cheese.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
have had non-cheese and it's pesto. It's been delicious.
yeah, yeah. I think I've perfected a non-cheese pesto. I actually have a really good one. So if you wanted to, I think my email is in the email that came out from Sarah.
Okay.
Feel free to email me and I can send that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So I'm still giving this a spin. And while that's happening, I'm going to show you two kinds of plant-based cheeses that I like to get for special occasions when I'm doing a plant-based cheese board. That's good enough for now. Okay. So one of the brands is Miyoko's. A lot of people call it Mykonos because the letters are so similar. Miyoko is actually a woman who started this company, and she is of Japanese origin, so Miyoko is her name. She makes excellent plant-based cheeses. And then another great cheese, I'm just showing you the packet because I threw away the outside a few days ago. It's Chow, and it's made by Field Roast, C-H-A-O. And that one's popular, I find, with young kids. So for instance, my sister's daughter uses this for grilled cheese, and for young kids somehow who like a sliced cheddar or a sliced American cheese, this is a great substitute for them.
Diana, there's a question in the chat. Was there any salt in the hummus?
Yes, there was. There was 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
And Adele, oh, how can we get more of your recipes? So Beantown Kitchen is my website, and I have recipes there. If you're on Instagram, if you follow me on Beantown Kitchen, I post a couple recipes a week along with pictures. So I would recommend following me on Instagram would be a good place to see like what I'm doing every couple days. And with pictures, I'm working on my food photography to make the food appealing. And then Carob Fudge, yum. Who makes Carob Fudge?
I do.
You do? How do you make that?
I have this very simple recipe from an old cookbook from the 90s, Judy Brown's Guide to Natural Foods. And it's literally just nut butter of your choice. I usually use sunflower or peanut butter. And then a choice of rice syrup or barley malt. I usually use the rice syrup because it's a little sweeter. And then carob powder, and that's it.
Yum. Sounds
so good.
So good. That sounds wonderful. Very simple.
Totally.
Okay. So now you can look over here because I'm going to put together the plant-based cheese. I say cheese board, plant-based appetizer board. So I sort of have, I have a little bit of a formula for how I like to do this. And that is, I'm opening up this cheese, the one I said was Miyoko's. And this one happens to be a smoked farmhouse cheese. And I like to put the biggest items that are going to go on my board sort of on first. So I just laid that down there. And another big item that's going to go on my board is a container of some of the hummus. So I'll take some of the hummus out, and let me get this going. And just a second while I get the pecans out of the oven.
About how long were the pecans supposed to cook for? 8?
Too long. They were supposed to be in about 8 to 10 minutes. Actually, that was about right.
Yeah, my timer's about to go off. I set it for 8 minutes, so.
Yeah, mine look really good. Okay, so I'm just going to spoon some of this hummus into a little container. And this is my second kind of larger item that's going to go on the appetizer board. Okay, so here we go. And I'll place that down here. I'm just going to switch these. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is slice some cheese. So this was the chow cheese. It's spelled C-H-A-O.
And Diana, out of curiosity, what is the chow cheese made out of? Do you know? Cashews or?
Yeah, wait, hang on. What?
Tapioca?
It's not cashews. It's one of the, it's not a nut-based cheese, so therefore it's a little less expensive than some of the others. And I'm not remembering right now, but if someone wants to Google it, chow, C-H-A-O, ingredients, it will come up. I don't think it's a nut-based cheese. It's a good question. So look how it's a big square. So what I'm going to do with this, just because I think it's prettier, is I'm going to cut it into 4 triangles. So I have triangles now, and I'm just going to lay those down on the board like this. Can you see what I'm doing?
Soybeans for the chow.
Thank you. That's right. Soybeans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. That's what it is. And they're pretty, you know, they've done a pretty good job of mimicking the cheese flavor we're used to. So when you do your board, you don't have to stick everything to the center of the board. It's okay if it sort of hangs over the edge. So I'm just sort of laying those out like that. Some cheese. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add is I have a variety of crackers. And when I do this, I like to choose crackers that have different shapes just to make it interesting. So I have these round sesame seed crackers I got from Trader Joe's. And then Trader Joe's now has these gluten-free, everything but the gluten crackers. And I like these because they taste really good. And I also like the shape of those just for variety. So I'm going to put some of those, let's see, some crackers here, like this. And I'll put a few more of those up here. And then I'll put down some of these rectangular crackers. Let's see, put a couple of those here, down at the edge. All right, and I'm even gonna push this over. It looks nice if it looks like all of the board is covered. Okay, so let's see, what else? Now we're filling in with a variety of different colors and textures and food types. And I don't want to forget my pecans that are over there too. So I'm going to start with some of these little sliced cucumbers that I have. And I'll just put a couple of those around here near the hummus. People could pick up a little cucumber and scoop some hummus. That's a nice combination. So there's some cucumbers there. And then I'm also going to get some pecans now. Just show you, this is how they came out. So there are the pecans, and they're nice and sort of hard and covered with, they're almost like caramelized. And they're so delicious. It's such a treat for people to pick this up on the appetizer board. So let's see, I'll put a couple of those pecans here. That's a nice spot for them right there. Okay. And then put that there. Let me see if there's any questions. Yes, Beantown Kitchen, follow on Instagram, garlic is option. Thank you, garlic. How can we get more recipes? Hummus, Carob Fudge, pesto. Image result for chow cheese. Oh, thank you for posting that there, Adele. Perfect. Okay. So moving right along now, I'm going to just keep on like painting a picture, it seems to me. So I'm going to put some raspberries here. Couple raspberries. I will, what am I missing? Raspberries, and then I have some almonds that I'm just going to put right in here. Actually, I don't love that because you don't see them because they're next to other foods that are the similar color. So let me put some almonds here. Oh, grapes. And you know, you don't need to fill the board with the same types of things I'm filling it with. Doesn't have to be the same exact ingredients, but this just gives you an idea of the types of things you can use. So here's some grapes. And I have these really nice figs. Let me put a couple around there. And what else? I'll put a couple more raspberries here. You see what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. I'm going to fill in a couple more with the pecans right there. And fill this up with a little more cucumber. Let's see what else I have. Oh, I like the idea of putting some of these, some more of the figs here. Figs there. And some more grapes here. And then I have some empty space there. Let's see what would be nice. More raspberries there. And oh, I have carrots. I forgot that I had carrots. So I could slide some carrots right here on the edge. Although in retrospect, they might have been nice to sit around the hummus, but that's okay. People get it. Okay, so I've got carrots there. Let me slide another carrot right here. And then I like to put some kind of garnish on. So I have some dill here, and that would be particularly nice if I had made a dill hummus to give sort of, to use. I like whatever, you know, to grab some of the herb that I've used in the dish that I've prepared to use it as a garnish. So, you know, a little bit of dill on top of there. I could put a little bit on the side there and maybe slide a little bit in here. I like greenery. I could put a couple more almonds here. And I think that's it. What do you think?
Wow. Very nice. And
Pretty? So,
Diana?
yes.
Would you hold it up because for some reason I can't enlarge my screen to see it.
Okay, yeah, let me see if I can move it closer to the
You can
phone.
click on it and pin it. A little pin will come to your right and pin it, and it will come into the center of the screen large.
Oh yeah, Sarah, can you, as the host, are you able to make this the speaker view?
you know what I could do is maybe share it. No, wait, I don't know. Let's see. Pin video, yeah. Oh, yes, there we are. Okay, thank you for the tip.
Did that work?
Oh, that is lovely. Yeah.
Oh, too bad you didn't see me doing. Okay, so I know for next time, if I'm doing this class again, that I should pin whatever I'm doing while I'm preparing.
Yeah, actually, I have to do that as the host, so remind me.
Okay, I'll remind you. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's the idea. I actually would like to slide a couple more of this. I want to get a little more of this contrasting color down here. I don't know, sometimes like it's too much of a good thing if you fuss with it, but there we go. So
Wow.
thank you, Adele and Carrie. That's all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been fun.
Fun? Okay, great.
I'm going to go right in and make my pecans.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you everybody for joining. I mean, no need to rush off, but that's basically it. You did it.
Beautiful.
Yes, I did it! Woo!
Yay, yay. What did you do?
I just hit spotlight video.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, wow. Great, because I'll admit, I am not a techie at all. So,
All right, well, you figured it out. Okay, so everybody see it now?
Yes.
Even I can now see it too.
Okay.
Okay. So sometimes, just to be fancy, and now maybe as an afterthought, it's a little tricky, but I like to cut a little bit into this cheese, just to kind of give an inviting like movement to it, make it look like, oh, someone was about to grab it. So it doesn't look so static.
And that's the Miyokos?
Yeah, that's the Miyokos.
Mm.
Okay. Any other questions? No? So should we say goodnight?
Yeah, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much, everybody. It was lovely to see you.
Hey.
Thank you, Sarah, for hosting.
Okay,
I
thank
learned a
everyone
ton.
for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you,
Okay.
Sarah, for hosting. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.